Hey monkeys, how you doing? Damian Keys here. Welcome to the hashtag Ask Damo show number 19.
19. Oh, hello.
Nice. Nice. Today, awesome day. Good moods all round. Melissa's here.
Hello.
We have some questions.
Please.
And
Forgot about the presents.
we've got stuff. I don't know. How's your week been?
Yeah, good.
We didn't do a show last week.
No, I was up north over the weekend actually.
And I was in Portugal.
You were sunny Portugal.
Oh, I know these guys. These guys are great. Silent Fiasco, thank you so much for these. These are definitely going to go on the wall and definitely one in my car as well. I met these guys at a talk I did for the Bright Ideas Trust in London. And we just talked for ages afterwards, and they are the nicest people. Really lovely guys. Writing on behalf of Silent Fiasco, it was great to meet you at the Bright Ideas event on building a brand in London last month. We really enjoyed your talk, and thanks for the advice you gave us afterwards too. I've enclosed a couple of copies of our EP. Kapow! I hope you'll enjoy it. I was wondering if you plan a Skype. Yes, you can. You send me stuff, you get a Skype, no problem at all. Let's have a Skype and let's build a strategy. Absolutely. Anne-Marie, thank you so much, Anne-Marie. That is absolutely wicked. That's going to go on. I'll get in touch. We will definitely do a Skype. I don't know, this could be anything.
Yeah,
this could be literally anything. Okay. Ooh, looks like a couple of things. Ah, you read that.
Hello.
I'll do this.
Okay.
God.
My hands will work. To Damian Keys and Co. Here are some t-shirts for you. Our band is called Ocean Sunset View. We are on most social media formats. We appreciate the work you do and have implemented many of your suggestions into our band, so please check us out. Thanks, Lee Wiz. James Heron, Josh Edwards.
Oh, I like that. Look at that. That's
Nice.
great.
We'll have to check them out.
That's
really cool.
That's not going on the wall. That's going on me. Oh, I love that. That's fantastic. Do you know what? I'm off to a networking event in a minute. I'm going to wear this.
Woo.
You'll see on my Instagram that I'll be wearing that. That is amazing.
Oh, I really like that.
Absolutely brilliant. Thank you so much, guys. We will be putting links down below. Also on that, bands, if you want to send some music in, we are looking for music for the vlogs, for general music for the videos, but also we're going to start using this as well. Don't forget this bit, but we're going to use this and we're going to start having a weekly promo of some bands. So if you send your music to Sarah, Sarah's yours, Sarah...
Damian Keys or something? Yeah, I think so.
Sarah at Damian Keys. We'll put the link in below. This one looks like it's come from a far off distant land.
Yeah, what is these?
This is, oh, take a look at page 12. Ooh, are we in a magazine?
Is that 12 or 72?
72, not 12. It's my reading, that is. No way! Look at that!
It's you! Did you know this was
I'm in a magazine! Holy shit! And it's in English, I don't know. Oh, it's from Tomas. Oh, dude, you total legend. Oh, I am.
That's so nice.
That's going on the wall.
That should go on the wall.
I'm gonna go find more copies of this. Get this magazine, MP Music. This is
Well said.
amazing, Thomas. You're a legend. Thank you so much. Oh, this is an awesome day.
Shall I kick us off?
Let's do it. We've got time.
Right, here we go. So this is a fun one. What are your thoughts on the new Taylor Swift Ticketmaster collab?
Right. Okay. So we just were about to talk about this because the question came up, and we were just like, we started to talk about it, and I was like, hold, stop, wait. I want to do this on camera because I have a feeling that we might disagree.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Well, there's a lot of people talking about it at the moment. It's hot topic.
And there's a lot of people who are not happy.
Yeah.
Most people are not happy. What are your thoughts on it, Melissa?
I think that Taylor Swift is actually a really, really smart businesswoman, and I think I quite like the fact that she's always challenging the music industry and challenging what the norms are. However, I do have a little bit of a but. I worry that with this new system where it's kind of based off how much merch you're buying as a fan and how much you're doing, whether it eliminates fans that don't have as much money or don't perhaps have the resources to be able to do that. Because I think if you're a massive fan of Taylor Swift and you're perhaps saving a lot, or you're relying on your parents who maybe don't earn a lot of money in order to buy a ticket, suddenly you're out of that system if you can't afford to buy all of the merch and everything else around it.
Because it is a financial system.
Yeah.
So if you don't know what the system is Taylor Swift has released her new single. She's teamed up with Ticketmaster, the big ticket machine. And the idea is it's a kind of reward scheme where the more, it's not just the more you buy.
Yeah.
From what I've looked into, the more you engage, the more you look after Taylor Swift, the more she looks after you, effectively, or the Taylor Swift team. The way they've done this is they've said, look, we all hate the bots. When you're trying to rig up a ticket and you get up at 7 o'clock in the morning and your hand is hovering over the button and it's like the clock strikes 9 o'clock in the morning and you type the button in and it says, oh, you've sold out. And you're like, how the fuck? I literally was like 1 second into it. How can it be sold out in 3 seconds? We hate that. We hate ticket touts. We hate all that. Us musicians hate it. The consumers hate it. It's unfair on the artists hate it. The artists feel like that's taking their fan base for a ride because they're having to pay extortionate amounts of money, which they not only don't come to the artists, but also they just feel like taking that money aside, it's just unfair on their fan base. So Taylor Swift, and I have so much time for Taylor Swift because she, out of everyone in the pop mainstream side of the music industry, is one person who realizes that there aren't any rules. Whilst everyone else will go, yeah, the rules are different, or she knows it. She knows that she is building this empire and she is able to make up her own rules, and she has got the fan base to be able to do it. I think we'll see a lot more of this sort of stuff from her. Now, this is, to me, is supply and demand. Like, I completely agree. Taylor Swift is going to do something that is going to alienate fans who can't afford to see Taylor Swift. That is a shitter. However, should it not be done because 20, 30% of the fan bases are alienated, therefore 70% of people who would do stuff, who would want to be involved, who would want to get tickets without going through a bot, aren't, they wouldn't have this opportunity. If you are a massive, massive fan, you get to engage and obsess over Taylor Swift, and it earns you points so that when these, you get the rewards. So in my head, I'm like, this is supply and demand. If she puts on a tour, if you put on a gig and you can get 200 people to your gig, and you've only got a venue that holds 30 people, then you're going to fill it up. You've got 200 people who want to come, you've got 30 places. So then it's like, okay, well, how am I going to find the people who deserve to come? This is a way you could say, well, I could find that out. Now, there is a really fine line, because I am loving this idea, because someone is trying something new to say, fuck the touts and fuck the bots. Let's do something and try something different and try and actually look after our fans, even though it will also be looking after Taylor Swift. And it feels a bit sticky with the whole kind of the financial side to it. It's not just engagement, but if you look at one thing, Taylor Swift is better than everybody in the entire world at, I would say. It is how to PR yourself in a very clever way. So what used to happen was you get single, you go on TV and you go on the Graham Norton show, or you go on Top of the Pops, or you go on one of those programs. Nowadays with social media, someone like Ed Sheeran or Taylor Swift can do something like turn up to a randomer's wedding and sing a first dance like Ed Sheeran did, and all of a sudden that is worth 10 times the amount of publicity and ad space and marketing and getting in front of eyes than it would be just going on one of these TV shows for the same amount of time and effort. So Taylor Swift is amazing at that. She does stuff like, Taylor Swift does a lot of stuff behind the scenes to look after her fan base. She buys Christmas presents for fans. Like, she does stuff like that.
Genius.
She does stuff like that, kind of Oprah Winfrey. You get a car, she does that kind of stuff. So if you look at someone who will take and then put back in again, who could pull this off, it's Taylor Swift, 100%. Because she has got the die-hard fans she has got enough fans who've got enough money to say, well, yeah, I'm going to buy a t-shirt when I'm there, so I'll just buy a t-shirt beforehand and get a ticket, and they will invest. Where it gets a little sticky is there does feel like a few things. Like I read one article which said you buy the CD, you pre-order the CD, but if you want the CD on day one, which is when everyone wants it, you have to pay $50 shipping. And I was like,
Ooh,
that's who's delivering that?
Yeah.
Is Kanye turning up to deliver that? What's happening?
I don't think it's Kanye.
So, how it works then is there's a fine line. And I would like to know, because all of the details aren't quite out that I've seen, but I would like to see how much of this is purely financial, how much of this is engagement, how much of this is, if you watch my new video and you post on your Facebook and you post on your YouTube and you leave comments, how much of that is going to go towards it as well? Because that is something that is going to be very, very beneficial. She's understanding the social media as she always has, and not only how to get it out there as a share, but she's also understanding now how to kick in the algorithm, so Facebook is just doing the job for her. And it's, the thing is we're looking at this from saying, well, people are going to have to spend loads and loads of money. Well, I'm like, true. And if you take it into consideration that Taylor Swift's very, very rich, you kind of go, oh, it feels a bit dirty. That's exactly the same thing. That is exactly the same thing. That is, you look after me, I will look after you. If you share my shit, I'll give you stuff or give you the opportunity to win stuff. No difference. That is, this week I gave away a bass. I've also, this week, I'm about to give away a day in the studio. Next week, I'll pay for a rehearsal. Next week, I'll do some tickets for a gig. Next week, I will pay for, for a week's worth of rehearsal with a band. And whatever it is, and I'm saying you can win these, but you've got to help trigger my engagement. You've got to build up my Facebook algorithm and my YouTube algorithm, because I know that if that triggers, more people will see it, and those more people will like it, and then those more people, and it goes out and it goes out and it goes out and it goes out. That's exactly the same thing. The only difference is I'm not making you pay. So it's a free thing, so therefore you kind of go, but that's acceptable, because all we have to do is type hashtag 60min and then I get the opportunity to actually get some nice prizes and that kind of stuff. Well, Taylor Swift has just got a much, much more hardcore audience that she can say, yeah, well, buy a t-shirt, like, look after me. Why should the kids who love me and want to get involved in my gigs, why should they be missing out? Because a bot will buy the ticket and then someone's rich dad will pay 300 quid for a ticket anyway. So I can totally see where this is going. But more importantly, taking aside the debate, because I can see both. I can see when certain kids go, oh, we're priced out of the market. And it's like, oh, that feels nasty. I bet you she does something about that. I bet you she does. But more importantly, what I love about this is I was with Bruce yesterday and Bruce said something amazing. He said, the music industry has been bitten because the music industry thought it owned music. Or thinks it owns music, and it doesn't. Now, everyone's got a piece of the action, which I think is an amazing way of looking at it. The music industry thought that it owned music, and university thinks it owns knowledge, and it's bullshit. It's complete bullshit. And Taylor Swift is there to say, fuck you, I'll do this my own way. And she might fall flat on her face, because these things happen. If everyone remembers, a couple of years ago, U2 went in the studio, they made an album, and they gave it to everybody on their iTunes for free. Now, if you actually analyze that, they went into the studio and they said, here is a free thing. And we fucking hated them. Like, we were like, how dare you giving me free stuff that I don't want? And I was like, oh, actually, if you look at it, it's quite a nice gesture. They actually went in the studio, they paid all that money, they teamed up with iTunes, they put it on your iTunes and just kind of went there. The hard part was we couldn't delete it, so it backfired in their faces, and they got a lot of hate for it. If I was U2, I'd have been sitting there thinking, oh, I thought that was a really, I thought that was good. So, I can totally see how this can backfire. However, I don't think it will, because I think she's got such diehard fans. But what is good is she's doing something that hasn't been done before to say, the rules are gone.
I would just like to see what she does to look after those that are diehard fans but can't quite afford it. And like another thing as well, I suppose, is say say you're under 14 and you can't go to the venue on your own, will your parents not be able to buy tickets because they haven't gone through the planning process as
Possibly.
well and go with
I'm
you?
sure they'll have some kind of
Yeah.
what you get allocated to or through it.
Yeah. I mean, I think if she plans ways around it, and I think as long as all her fans, I think, are involved in this, I think it could actually work really well. But I think the controversy is obviously instantly people see it as, oh, this is a money maker,
money making
and
thing.
that's all it is.
Yeah. And do you know what? Cheers, devil's advocate. If it is, so what?
Yeah, well, I mean, something, it's a way of making money in an industry when the industry doesn't make a lot of money off just music anymore.
Every single day I get musicians asking me about how am I going to make money? My tour doesn't make money. I can't go on tour. It doesn't make any money. My merchandise doesn't sell. I can't make any money. I've made a record. I'm trying to sell it. Nobody wants to buy it. I can't make any money. Like, if I say to 99% of the people here, look, I found a way that you can actually monetize this, everyone goes, oh, thank fuck for that.
Yeah.
That's what she's trying to do. She's trying to go, look, let me find a new way. Let me experiment because I have got a shield, which is, I'm fucking Taylor Swift. Yeah. I have got a shield. If anyone can try something new, it's me. And if I can fix this, every artist in the whole of the world will go, that works, we'll do the same thing. Yeah. So this is ballsy as fuck.
Yeah,
it's brilliant. Ballsy. So cut some slack. So that's what I think. That's my thoughts. My thoughts is everyone bitches and whinges and moans about how the music industry is right now and how ticket touts and all those things and how you can't make any money and stuff. At least she's trying something new. And if she's trying something new and it makes her a shit ton of money, but it actually is a way of working, entrepreneurial wins. She's creative, she's trying something new, it wins. If it doesn't, she falls flat on her face, entrepreneurial gamble. That's just the way it is. You risk and reward. So personally, I hope she makes a shit ton of money because I know she's a good person and she'll put it back in again. I hope the fans actually don't have to pay 3 times as much for a ticket or can't get tickets and have that disappointment, which we've all had trying to get tickets to our favourite show. So for me, I'm a Swiftie. I'm a Swiftie fan.
All right. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
That's. I think we can probably finish the debate on that.
Okay.
No, good luck.
Tell us what you think.
I
would love to know what musicians think, because if anyone's going to have a problem with this, it's going to be musicians. But I would love to know what you think. And I have no problem with you disagreeing on this, because this is just my way of thinking. But let me know on the comments below whether you are up for this Taylor Swift idea. If you're not, what you like about it, what you don't like about it, and what you are going to try and implement into your band product in order to try and see if this is going to work.
Yeah, it's interesting because you can totally see both sides as well. It's very hot topic. Right, okay, so this is Tidal Wave from Twitter. They've asked, do you find a booking agent or do they find you? Very quick answer, because we've done lots on booking agents, but you can find booking agents, but again, this comes down to very, very simply another question, which is, I'm facing the music industry. People are always facing the music industry. If I want a booking agent, well, if you want a booking agent, it all comes down to proof. If you can put on a show and you can get 500 people to your show, the booking agent will find you. If you're approaching booking agents and they're saying, we're not interested, it's because they don't think that you're a valuable option for it. So there's going to be a little bit in between where you're like, maybe we could get a booking agent and we can schmooze them. But don't forget, the music industry, it's their job to try and find out this stuff. The music industry is watching at all times. It's their job. That is of what's left of the music industry. But they're not just sat waiting for a phone call. They don't want that. They want to hear about bands on the grapevine and go, oh, that sounds quite good, and then go down and go, fuck me, this is really, really good. This works. So, but for me, the question is, you're facing the music industry again with that question. You're saying, I want to get a booking agent and I'm not ready, because if you were completely ready, they would find you. So it's like, how can I jump to get a booking agent? Because it's their job to find this stuff out. If you want to find a booking agent, it's very, very simple. You need to be able to put on shows and get 200 plus people to your shows. You need to video that show so you've got proof of it, and you just need to send it to a booking agent and go, fucking check this shit out. So by which time they would have heard about it, they would have come to your show, because that's their job to do that. So for me, concentrate on getting the numbers to the gigs, and the booking agents will find you out. So you're doing it. You're already doing the work. But just,
it's the same thing with a label, exactly the same. You can say it with everything. Does the label find you or do you find the label? I mean, in 1995, you found the label because you had to send your CD in and you lived in Swansea, where I'm from, and you had to send this because they're not going to find out via that. Nowadays, of course they'll find out.
Yeah.
Like I talk to people in the industry all the time. They live in their car. They're traveling up and down the motorways all the time, going and seeing gigs, going and seeing bands, hearing something, going online, checking out, going, oh, this could work, going to a gig. That's what they do. But if you point, every time you point towards the music industry, every decision you make, you will you'll make it with the music industry in mind instead of the audience in mind. And going back to the Taylor Swift thing, at least what she's doing is she's got the audience in mind instead of the music industry in mind. So you've got to face the audience. You've got to look after your audience. And if you can find ways of getting people down to your shows, then it'll grow.
Yeah.
It'll grow and the music industry will come and find you, as it always does.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. The next question is actually quite similarly themed, so I'm going to do a little swap-a-roo with another question I found, which is from Emil, and she's asking, would it be easier to let someone else manage my Facebook account?
No. is the very
no.
Where do I start with that? I mean, no, don't do that. That's a terrible. That's the same thing as when people say things like, well, I'm not really into social media. Tough shit. Like, I had that today. I just had a Skype meeting earlier on, and the girl I was Skyping who works with businesses, she's a branding expert, and she just said, but I mean, the hard part is when you say to businesses, you need to be on Facebook, and they say, well, it's not really working for us. And I'm like, stop. Like, don't try and convince them. Fucking sack them off. Get rid of them. Just say, that's just like saying, I'm not interested. If you say, I'm not interested in social media, I'm not interested in Facebook, what you're saying is, I'm not interested in customers. I'm not interested in my audience. I'm not interested in my fan base. Fuck you. Like, literally, fuck you. If you're not interested in your fan base, fuck you. Because that's all this is. That's all we've got. There's no music industry. It's this idea that we've got a music industry is bullshit. What we've got is people in and around the world that work for certain bands in certain bits. I mean, it's the most disjointed industry, and there was a fucking mess. But what holds it together is people can just go and do it themselves. Like, it's just, the whole thing is changing and evolving so fast. But the one common denominator amongst the whole thing is very simple: band, audience. Simple as that. Business, audience. You've got to be able to connect. And the way we connect in 2017 is social media. The way we connected in 2001 was radio, local radio and TV, and that was it. and that's the way it was. And the way we connected in 1925 would have been walking around, knocking door to door. Like, there's just different. This is the way we connect now. We connect online. The problem is, if you give your social media to somebody else, then I just don't think they're just not. It's not you. It's not real. I don't like it. I don't buy into it. I just think I don't think you need to be. I don't think you need to be on 10 different social medias. If you're on like 10 different social medias, and like, you know, I'm trying to do all of them. And if I just said, look, I've got a business to run. I'm up to my eyeballs. Melissa, can you just take hold of the Instagram and just make sure we're still posting the same stuff? Take pictures when we're together. Do some stuff. Post Instagram stuff. But you've got my logins. Then that's one thing. But if you just go, my social media or my Facebook, that's going to go to somebody else.
No, okay, take care. I was going to sneeze.
All right. So the short answer is no, do it yourself and learn, because that question makes me feel like this is going away. It's not going away. Like, it's going to evolve. You know, everything's evolving. And so the conversation I had this morning was, I was chatting about China. So I don't know if you know this, but in China, they don't have YouTube, no Facebook. It's a very, very different internet that they have. It's a very controlled thing. So they're kind of aware of Facebook, but they don't really give a shit about it. But there's no YouTube, there's no Facebook. They don't have that. They're not allowed it. But what they do have is, they don't have lots and lots of apps. They have this one app, which is called WeChat. And that is everything. It's like Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. You can book tickets, you can get a taxi, it's like Uber, and it all comes through one app. That's what will be the future, is instead of having lots and lots of apps on your phone, you just have an app and it does everything that you could possibly want. And so and what will people say? Oh, it's not the same because it's just one app. Tough. That's evolution. That's what happens. We've got to actually get into our head that technology evolves faster than everything, like everything. So we're on board. You jump on board or you die. This way of communication is not going away. If you don't jump on board, you will not be able to sustain what you do. And as me, in business terms, unless I'm at the front of it, the next time I start a business or the next time I go and consult with a business, I'm yesterday's news. So it's important. So how you connect, how you engage. If you think about your favorite band or your favorite artist, you want to get hold of them if possible. Yeah. You don't want Michelle, who's in the office, going, Damian's not here, but I'll take a message. You're like, I don't want that. I want to talk to Damian. Yeah. So find the time, prioritize. This is important shit.
Yeah. Okay, so this is the last question, and this is from Pete Gordon via Twitter. He says, "Hi Damo, can I get 3.5 tips, not 4, not 3, 3.5 tips about writing a bio as an indie beginner singer-songwriter?"
Wow. What half a tip is?
just stop talking.
Yeah. So writing a bio one of the questions I would ask is, what would the bio be for? If it's for your social media, I think it's a very, very good question, because I think there's such an untapped resource in this sort of field of about sections and write-ups that people bore the shit out of me. Whenever I go onto people's Facebooks, bands' Facebooks, and I go onto their write-up, I read 3 lines and I'm like, I'm bored, I'm out. And you've got an opportunity, and everything's an opportunity, but this is an opportunity to tell your story. And so I was with a band the other day, and it was Omnibus, actually, these guys, who are brilliant, and I went to see them, had a chat about sort of their new album they've got coming out and what they're doing, and went up to their studio. It was really nice to see them. And I was saying, never forget, this band's been going for nearly 10 years. Yeah. So never forget that whilst you're 10 years later, you remember all of the little bits from the last 10. You remember all of the story. But someone who's just joined your Facebook, they don't know the story. They don't remember this sort of stuff. They want to know these stories. They want to know how it started. They want to know the stuff that happened on the way. It just can't start from today. So you've got an opportunity to actually to tell your story. And I think that's what's good about a bio. You're saying, this is what we do, but come with me on a journey and let me tell you a story, because that's what we love. Yeah. So you've got the opportunity to paint a picture. So for me, I would say, if you're going to write a bio as a singer-songwriter, then obviously your work's going to do, people are going to see your work, but you've got another opportunity to fill in the gaps, which is more than just, do you like my songs? Or I do this. It can also be, this is how it started, and you can get people to fall in love with what you do from painting a good picture. Yeah. So for me, writing a bio is a lot of work, and that's why people don't do it, because it takes a long time and it's a lot of creativity, and people go, ugh, 3-piece band from Cardiff playing rock music, and people are like, okay, well, that's just facts. That is boring. That's shit. Why don't you tell a story? How did you meet? If you went on the Graham Norton show or something and he was interviewing you, he would want more than facts. Yeah, he wouldn't want to know story. He would want to know history. He would want to know what you stand for. He would want to know what you're working towards. He would want to know what you see the future. He would want to know the whole thing. He would want to know what makes you tick, or why you're doing it, what you love. As a songwriter, who are your influences? There's a big one. I love these singer-songwriters. They really inspire me. Or, for me, I'm like 70s production. I love vinyl because I love 70s production. And I know you can get vinyl in any era, but I just love the vinyl and 70s production. It goes together well. You could get all of these little bits of information into a bio, and it doesn't have to be long, but I think people miss a trick. Yeah. because it's just a way of tying you in, of making people go, look, do you feel the same as me? And they go, I do feel the same as you. So, you know, and my half a tip is never, ever.
And on that note, we have reached the end of the show.
Good. So things to do. Comment, 60 million win, hashtag 60 million win. You can do this on any of the platforms we've got, and we'll be doing prizes every couple of days. The next one is going to be if you want to win a recording day, day in the studio near you. I'm going to pay for it near you. I'm not going to pay for Abbey Road or Metropolis, but I'm going to find a studio that's near you. There's a normal everyday price, and I'll pay for you to go in the studio. But I'll also probably be picking people out and doing Skypes. I want to do some more Skypes. I've got some time next week, so I'm going to book in some Skypes. So if you want to Skype with me and to work on some socials, then hit me up. So that's the thing to do. And again, going back to the Taylor Swift, look after me, I will look after you. Go and subscribe to my YouTube. That makes the difference. You subscribe to my YouTube and make a comment on YouTube. I read it, I will notice it. You do the same thing on my Instagram, I will notice it. So put yourself about. Do some work on that. Good. In that case, have a good week. See you next week.